Thank you, James. Thank you, Angel. Thank you guys for putting this on and inviting both Mark and I up here to give you guys some excellent little tidbits of information. So today, I'm not just doing a presentation. What I'd like to do for you guys is run mostly, or at least show you how to run a workshop to develop your core message and better understand your customers. So my goal is, well, this typically could take hours to do. We want to run through it, show you how to do it so you can take it home, do it with your team. If you do want to work along with me right now, that's fine, but let's get into it. There we go. A little bit about me. I am the senior consulting partner. I'm also the co-founder with Mark Anderson back there of the Profit Growth Initiative. I do have a house horse. That's my giant dog. I've been in marketing for 14 years across different industries. I worked with my family company, which is probably a lot of you understand, to increase the total multiplier by 11% by building result-oriented marketing systems, and Mark can help explain that too. He'll account for that with me. I started consulting in 2014, and now I focus on strategy, automation, building automated marketing systems, CRM construction, and creating marketing teams for building service contractors. So our goal today is that when you leave or when you go home and you want to do this on workshop with your team, that when you're finished, you'll know the exact positioning and messaging you need to create or craft a perfect offer that attracts the buyers that you want. And the main framework that we're going to be using is the core messaging canvas. You'll see that in the packet that I handed out. So why do we do this? Well, first, a lot of people, marketers, business owners, they'll start with saying, hey, you know what, I got something I want to sell, and then I'm just going to go out and talk about it now. So instead, what we really want to do is understand who are you going to serve, and then what do they want to hear, and then how are you going to help them understand that transformation. Second is that messaging is everything and everywhere. Again, understanding, defining what they want to hear, then where are you going to go out and put that forth so they can find it. We want to simplify and clarify the value proposition that your company provides. This would be really, again, a lot of marketers, they'll try and get some cliche or clever saying out there and they just lose their customer along the way. Clarity is key when it comes to this so that they understand the value that you bring right from the get-go. And then, of course, it causes you to fall in love with your business, which is good for you, good for your team. It helps you really enjoy what you're doing and provide better service for your customers. But most importantly, whoever gets closest to the customer wins. The better you know them, the better you understand what they desire, the more likely they're going to want to be doing business with you. So let's get started. First, we're going to clarify your offer, your avatar in your offer, or that might be your persona, your customer persona. And we'll be starting in the upper left corner. You want to come up with a little clever name for them, whatever it might be, and then your product or your service and the offer that you're going to have. When you're doing this, you don't just want to do one for your whole company. You can, for an overarching thing, that'd be great, but you want to go for each customer segment you have, and you want to go for each product or service that you're selling. So this is something that you need to do multiple times and then iterate on. So that's over. That's pretty easy, right? Now let's clarify the who. And we're going to, this is kind of where I bring in another section of a workshop that I typically do, which is building your customer avatar. So I've got to join the two of them together and get through this. We're going to document it says yours, but your customers before and after. So a great sales message. Say you've got your customer, here he is, doesn't have your service, that's the before. Customer purchases your service, signs you on, here they are after. And what I want to show here is that your service is simply getting them from the before to the after state. Don't know why that did that not show up the last part. Little animation again for you. Sometimes the delays don't quite go there. But a great sales message simply articulates that transformation from the before to the after. There it is. You'll see in the packet that we have a before and after. Now you can either work off the worksheet or you can go up to your whiteboard at home and draw this on there. It's very simple. We've got 5 different areas that we focus on. First is going to be the have. That's going to speak to their emotional state. Or that's going to speak to the features and benefits that you provide. The second is going to be a feel, and that is the emotional state. Then we're going to talk about their average day, their status, And then also the good versus evil, which is kind of the core belief or greater philosophical understanding or problem that you solve. So step one with the have. What do they have before that they don't have after, or vice versa? And when you're doing this, you want to get these little yellow sticky pads, hand them out, give them to people on your team or yourself, and have each person write it down, go up, stick it on the board, however it might be. So when you're looking at your before and after canvas on this point, you'll have all these ideas up there. Again, step two on that feel. What is their emotional state like before compared to after? How are they, are they angry? Are they going to be, satisfied, relieved? What are you providing that actually helps them feel better? And then again, you'll see a little animation to get that up there. So third, average day. What is a day like? What is a day like or an average day in your customer's life like before having your service and then after? And what we want to speak to here is there a story or a narrative that you can tell? Is there a particularly bad day? What's their ideal day like? You want to do it again for that before and the after. So their status. And this one's really important because what you're doing in this point is helping them change the narrative or the story that they're telling about themselves. Can you get a before and after of receiving your value that will help them get to a different point in how they view themselves or how other people view them? See, ding, ding, ding. Get those ideas up there. Want to have as many as we can. And then the good versus evil, the philosophical evil that your service, product or service, can help them overcome. What is your core belief and purpose? What are you helping them actually overcome there? Got to show that. So let's take an example of an office manager. If anybody wants to speak up, I'd be happy to take some suggestions. I've got some. But before experiencing, let's just say, regular cleaning, what do you think they might have? Anybody? It's okay. They'll have an office. They might have an office that's not consistently clean. Their coworkers, their boss is complaining. You come on in, you deliver the best service you have. Afterwards, their clients are happy. Coworkers and clients are happy, people that come to their office, to work in an environment that's consistently clean. That's great, and that's usually where a lot of marketers might stop, or even business owners. Now we get down to the feel section. They might feel like a broken record. They're having to repeat requests. They're having to chase you down. Then afterwards, they are relieved and no longer having to check the problem areas and argue with the service provider to get the job done that they hired you to do. An average day. So again, when we start to get these last two, I think that they're very important in forming your core message. It's where you can help distinguish yourself and get the point across to your customer and define what they want to experience. So their time is spent fielding complaints, making phone calls, get the service they're promised. They're having to pick up the slack. Afterwards, they're accomplish more of their daily tasks, their responsibilities, and they actually do the job they're hired to do and not having to handle the complaints regularly. Status, again, very important. They're unable to do their job. This is how people are viewing them because they're doing the job that somebody else paid them to do. And now, after your service, they are a star employee who hired a reliable cleaning service, one that goes above and beyond what is expected. Now, the good versus evil. This can be really subjective to whatever your core belief and purpose is, but for the sake, I just went ahead and put in a can't control every aspect of a healthy and safe indoor environment, something that's beyond their control. And afterwards, they can provide confidence that they're able to keep their occupants, their coworkers, feeling safe and happy. So, you've got those down. You're putting them onto your core message, right? All your good ideas. Everybody's contributing. We're all happy. Now, the next thing that we want to do is identify the ones that are going to be alike. We want to kill ones that are the same, combine ones that might be similar to each other, and then you might find that, their feel is the same as their status, and you might need to switch them around. The point is that we want to get this through, and we want to work together to help build the best before and after transformation that you can come up with. Now let's talk about the statement of value. And it's going to be right at the center. because it is what connects that transformation that you're going to provide. Simple little framework that we use to help you describe your after state. And you'll see that it's different from a unique selling position or a positioning statement in the way that those are really product or service centric. They're trying to differentiate you from your competition. Your customers, they might not really care. It's kind of like they might be sitting there watching two people say, hey, I'm better than this person because of that. They're involved in an argument that doesn't really interest them. What they want to see is a customer-centric statement. How are you going to get them from that before state to the after state? So here's some examples of that. Our service helps facility managers feel like they have their own in-house maintenance team. Our service helps office managers overcome the time-consuming task of dealing with complaints and more time focusing on their key responsibilities. And our service helps property managers flawlessly maintain their asset value so they are recognized as a manager who is relentless about investor and tenant expectations. And you see a built on each one, but you're going to want to keep on going and iterating until you find one that really resonates with your customers. And now we're getting further down to the actual jobs to be done. Now this is the actual, obviously this is the jobs to be done. What is your service doing in order to help your customer get to that transformation? In this example, as a child of the 80s, I used Mario. You'll see little Mario gets the flower power, becomes big Mario, who can now take an extra hit, and he can attack his enemies from afar. It is providing that transformation. Here's an example of another way to look at the jobs to be done. If you're saying, here's what our product can do, but instead you should be saying, here's what you can do with our product. They sound similar, but they're two different approaches. And just know we didn't make this up. There is obviously articles on the Harvard Business Review where the customer has a job to do, this quote here, and they will hire the best product or service to get it done. And that is by Clayton Christensen. If you want to learn more and go deeper into the jobs to be done to better describe it, then there is a whole book and further frameworks that you can get into. And for today, we are going to just be using this simple: when your customer is in a certain situation, they have the motivation, so they want to get their expected outcome. I've got some examples that they're not related to the industry, but I do want to get this framework across so you can understand how you can make jobs to be done applicable or better understood by your customers. So when I have a picture on my phone, I want to put it in a prominent place so I can share with all my friends. Anybody, any idea what that might be now? You got it. It's Instagram. And this is the job that was replaced by, a picture frame or on the mantle somewhere. When I have important files, I want to store them in a safe place so I can access them anywhere. In this case, we're looking at Google Drive or Dropbox. You got it. And this is something that could have been done by a safe, a firebox, even a filing cabinet. But you're seeing how they are taking a situation and replacing it with another job to be done to get the expected outcome. And when I'm working on a project, I want to collect a scrapbook of inspirations so I can organize all of my ideas. Pinterest, I think I heard Pinterest. Absolutely. Something you might have done with just a simple corkboard and a pen, or collecting magazines, that kind of stuff. But you are getting to you are basically taking what your customer needs to have done, that service, with your service, and having that become, handling their own, their job to be done. So then you want to fill these. And you'll see that you have 5 little boxes down here, and you've got your 5 different areas that you look at for your before and after. And I will take that same framework that we have with the when I want to, so I can, and try and do that for each section that we have so they align. And lastly, there we go. We want to choose a metaphor. As human beings, we understand things when we can relate them better to things around us in our world. Little quote by Aristotle: the greatest thing by far is to have a command of a metaphor. This alone cannot be imparted by another. I'm sure you all can read, but having an eye for resemblances. Think when you are able to take a very complicated concept and explain it in something that way that somebody else understands, you're going to help them get to that transformation or the value that you provide a lot quicker. So we're going to brainstorm some metaphors. And in order to do that, we want to take a look at the key value drivers. Here's a few that we've got, and of course, I'd be happy to send you guys the slides. They'll do such thing as save times. I like reduce risks, connects you with others, reduces efforts. But when we take all that, we want to start getting to concepts. And again, we're going to use simple questions to get us to those concepts. What's something that I use every day? Ask yourself, what's something that I use every day that might reduce risk or connect you with others? How does a product name make me feel? What else makes me feel like that? Again, we're trying to connect those similarities. And in a literal sense, what does, let's say, a product name actually do for you? What else does something like that? When you start answering those questions, you're going to go to your friend Google, and we're going to start looking for metaphors, similes, and doing simple searches. Look for analogies, things that might do those jobs to be done, and then trying to connect those ideas. And lastly, you can do a Google image search to reverse search and find those with maybe the key value driver in that concept. And at the end, you'll have a completed core messaging canvas. Congratulations. So now, is this something that is going to help you? At the end of this, you're not going to sit there and say, yes, I have an ad to go to, but it will help make that overarching concept to get those ads out, to make your offers, and to help you understand how you need to deliver more excitement to your customers. And that's all I really got for you guys today. You'll see on the back of the packet, I do have a landing page. I'm going to do a little more extension on how you can take the same core message framework and make ads, actually write some more concepts, big ideas around it. And if you'd like to get that video, I'll be sending it out about mid-month.